How's it going, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be setting up the GPS rescue feature and the Failsafe rescue feature on the Tyro 119. It'll be the same exact procedure as with the Tyro 129 since the components are identically the same. But first, let's get on with installing the telemetry receiver on the Tyro 119. Since without a telemetry receiver, the GPS features will not work. Now, the receiver that I'll be using is the HobbyMate's D16 FrSky telemetry receiver, but other telemetry receivers will also work, like the XSR or the RXSR. And since I already have the receiver installed, what I'll do is remove some of this stuff on the top so we can take a look at how it is connected to the flight controller. Alright guys, so I've removed the top plate from the quadcopter, and I've also remove the VTX from the top of the flight controller, and here's the wiring harness from the VTX that was connected to this port right here on the side. And also I have removed the wiring harness for the receiver, which was connected in this rear port right there that was connected back there. So here's the receiver that I'm going to be using, and this is a telemetry receiver by HobbyMate. It is a D16 FrSky telemetry receiver. So let me go ahead and blow it up here. So you will see that I have 4 wires coming out from the receiver. One is the black wire, which is the ground wire. The red wire is the 5-volt. White wire is the S-bus wire. And this bluish wire is the smart port telemetry wire. And typically a receiver will have just 3 wires, which you will connect with this wiring harness. The yellow wire on this wiring harness is the signal wire. In this case is the S-bus. The red wire is the 5-volt, and black wire is the ground. So you just connect this wiring harness to the receiver, such as the XM Plus receiver, in which I had it done before prior to installing this HobbyMate telemetry receiver. So what I've done was I've just connected the wires together. So from the receiver, I got the red wire connected to the wiring harness's red wire, the white wire, which is the S-bus wire, connected to the yellow wire on the wiring harness, and the black wire to the black wire. So we have one more wire to worry about. That is the blue wire, and that blue wire is soldered onto the TX4 pad on the flight controller. So the Tyro 119 comes with a F4 flight controller with the Maytech F405 as a target firmware. And since there isn't a dedicated inverted smart port tab on the flight controller, we are going to have to change one of the TX UART pad to soft serial, so the flight controller will accept the inverted signal from the receiver. Now, if you are using an F3 or F7 board, you don't have to worry about this, and you can just use any TX UART pad available on the flight controller. But the Tyro 119 and the 129 comes with an F4 board, so we will have to use soft serial. So if you want to fly the Tyro 119 without telemetry and thus without GPS, then just connect these 3 wires to the receiver like the XM Plus receiver, and you are good to go. But we want GPS. So let's go into BETAFLIGHT and configure it so we will have GPS rescue and Failsafe GPS rescue. Alright guys, so here we are in BETAFLIGHT, and while I was away, I did put the Tyro 119 back together. So the receiver, the VTX, the camera, everything is mounted back on. The top plate is mounted back on. And also, I came inside BETAFLIGHT a minute ago and hooked up the Tyro 119, and I've erased everything that I've done to it as far as the GPS is concerned. So everything is back to how it was before without a telemetry receiver. So I can show you guys exactly how it looks like in BETAFLIGHT once you have everything hooked up, the hardware, that is, the smart port telemetry wire plugged into TX4. You can use TX4 or TX5, I believe. That's another open TX. We'll check it out right now. So let's go ahead and plug in the USB to the computer. Alright, so here we are in BETAFLIGHT, and we are in the Setups tab. So what you want to do whenever you come into Setups tab, you want to calibrate the accelerometer, put the quadcopter on a flat level surface. Okay, so let's go into the ports tab here. So as you can see, everything is back to normal. We don't have any soft serial on the UART extra. So we have UART 1, and that is selected to sensor input with GPS, and that is how the Tyro 119 came out of the box, configured like this. UART2 set to serial RX, UART3 selected to VTX, TBS Smart Audio. So we use UART4 TX pad to solder on the smart port telemetry wire. So we should be turning on smart port telemetry here, but no, it does not work because the signal is inverted. So we're going to have to activate soft serial in the CLI before we can do all this. So in the configurations tab, you will see that it already has soft serial turned on, and it already had telemetry turned on from right out of the box on the flight controller. But if it wasn't, go ahead and turn on soft serial and go ahead and turn on telemetry. So what we need to do is we need to go into CLI and turn on soft serial for TX4. So let's go ahead and go into CLI, and in the command line, type in resource. Hit enter. Error unknown. Okay, RESOURCE. Did I spell that wrong? Yeah, think so. Okay, so here are all the resource mapping, and we're going to look for resource serial TX4. And here it is right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy, and then in the command line I'm going to go ahead and paste it. So we have resource serial TX4 A00. So I'm going to go ahead and change 4 into 11, and that will assign soft serial to this TX as soft serial number 1. 11 is soft serial number 1, 12 will be soft serial number 2, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and then type in save, hit enter again. And now when we go into the ports tab, we will see that we have a new port, soft serial 1. And here what you want to do is go ahead and select smart port on telemetry output and hit save and reboot. Okay, so after you have done that, we're going to go into configuration and scroll on down. We already have soft serial turned on and telemetry turned on, and that is the reason why we were able to see the soft serial port on the ports tab. So here what we want to do is turn on GPS. So by default set to uBlocks, auto baud, auto config, auto detect, and 00 on the magnetometer. So just leave it just the way it is and it works just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and save and reboot. And now in the Failsafe tab, it is set to drop, but you are able to select GPS rescue. It is nice now that the latest versions of the BETAFLIGHT have this GPS rescue on the Failsafe tab instead of having to go into the CLI tab and typing in all of these parameters. You can do that right inside the Failsafe tab. So I have my angle set to 40 degrees and initial altitude to 30 and descent distance to 50, and I believe 20 meters per second was selected by default, 1200 set to throttle minimum, 1600 set to throttle maximum, 1280 set to throttle hover, and minimum satellite was already selected to 6, and sanity checks were turned on. So I'm going to go ahead and save and reboot. And And that is basically everything that you really need to do here. And also what you want to do is go into OSD and turn on whatever you need to turn on as far as all of the GPS features are concerned. So I got my altitude turned on, and I also have the GPS latitude, longitude turned on, GPS satellites, GPS speed, home direction, and home distance turned on. And also, as far as GPS is concerned, I think that's just about it. And post-flight statistics, you can also turn on whatever you want on the GPS features of the post-flight statistics, such as home distance maximum and speed maximum. Now we are able to find out how fast your quadcopter is going, flight distance, and also altitude maximum I have checked off. And once you do that, go ahead and save. And basically that is just about it, guys. So let me go ahead and go back into the setups page here. Nothing is showing up here because battery is not connected to the quadcopter. But once you connect the battery, the GPS features will go ahead and turn on. So let me go ahead and grab a battery and turn on the quadcopter. Alright, so here we go. Okay, battery is plugged in. And, oh, check it out. On the GPS 3D Fix, we went directly into the true because I fooled around with it before, but in the beginning, you will see a red tab here saying false until you acquire the necessary GPS, in which case right now I've already acquired 11. You will need 6 in order for it to turn true. And look on the top here, we have the GPS logo lit up as well, and there's the battery voltage right here. So one of the things that you need to do in BETAFLIGHT is going to the modes tab, and I've already done this. So you need to configure an auxiliary switch for GPS rescue. So before I have done that, it'll look like this. I won't have the GPS rescue turned on. So what I need to do is go look for GPS rescue, which is right here, and click on the add range and select the portion of the switch that you want the GPS rescue to be turned on, and select an auxiliary channel. And in my case, I have my channel 8 set to GPS rescue on a switch on my transmitter, so that'll be auxiliary 4. So go ahead and hit save once you have done that. And then we can hide unused modes, and we have the arming mode, the angle, GPS rescue on auxiliary 4, beeper on auxiliary 3, air mode on auxiliary 2, and that is exactly how I have it set up. So let's go and get out of BETAFLIGHT and go into the transmitter and show you how to set up the channel 8 as the auxiliary 4 switch. Alright guys, so here we are on the transmitter. Let me go ahead and turn on my transmitter. And what you want to do here, is go into your pages and set up the input for auxiliary 4, which is channel 8. So we got the, throttle, aileron, elevator, and rudder. And I got the arming switch here, the mode switch here, and I also got the buzzer switch here. So the next one will be auxiliary 4, will be channel 8. And I have the return to home set up over here. So let's go ahead and enter it. So I typed in RTH, and on the source, I've flicked this switch here. So this switch will activate my fail-safe rescue, or GPS rescue, not the fail-safe rescue, but it is the return to home. So once you have done that, you want to go into the next page, which is the mixer. And the mixer will automatically be set to RTH. So that is all you got to do here. And once you page over to telemetry page, here I have nothing showing because my quadcopter is not turned on. So let's go ahead and power up the quadcopter. I've already done this, so as you can see, I got all of my sensors sensing something here. So that is how it's supposed to look like. But once you get it on for the first time, you'll probably just have RSSI and RXBT showing up. So what you want to do is go down, and where it says discover new sensors, you want to hit that and let it discover new sensors. So let me go ahead and show you how that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of my sensors. So there is nothing showing on my telemetry page. So what I want to go down is go down to discover new sensors and hit it, and all of the sensors will be activated and will be sensing. All right, so that is one of the things that you need to do on your transmitter. All right, guys, so that is just about it. So we are back in BETAFLIGHT, and I want to do a final check here. So ports tab, soft serial, smart port telemetry output turned on, configuration, we have soft serial turned on, telemetry turned on, we have GPS turned on, and in the Failsafe tab we have GPS rescue turned on. And let's go into the receivers tab and make sure everything is working here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll be the GPS rescue. Yep, everything is working. I don't have a battery plugged in, so I don't have any RSSI. And in the modes tab, everything should be working here as well. All right. So basically that is just about it, guys. And make sure you configure your OSD so you'll have the GPS satellite count, the home distance, and the home arrow, and all that good stuff that GPS has to offer in BETAFLIGHT OSD menu on your FPV goggles. So that is just about it on setting up GPS rescue and fail-safe GPS rescue on the Tyro 119, same as the Tyro 129, and that is how you solder on the smart port telemetry wire from your telemetry receiver onto the flight controller using the TX4. You can also use TX5, and that is the only thing that you have to do that is different from any other receiver. Just one smart port telemetry wire will get your GPS features to work on the Tyro 119, as long as you have the GPS module hooked up correctly as well, and that is just plug and play, so you don't have to even worry about that. You just have to find a place to put the GPS module. Now I think Banggood also comes with a action camera mount, the little GPS module holder on top of the camera mount. I just went ahead and placed it on one of the arms and just used a couple of zip ties and a double-sided sticky tape on the bottom so that it doesn't slide around, and it's been working fine for me. Alright guys, so that is it for now for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.